Good morning, my brothers and sisters. Welcome to episode 15 of Be With Me in the book of 1 Corinthians. In 1984, Ghostbusters movies came out, and the premise of the movie is that the Stay-Puft Marshmallow Man grew up to gigantic size and turned into the Sumerian god Gozer, and the whole movie is about a group of people trying to bring that Stay-Puft Marshmallow Man back down to size. And that's essentially what today's passage is about. It's about unpuffing the self, unpuffing others, and standing humbly before God. This is from 1 Corinthians chapter 4. Listen with me. This is how one should regard us, as servants of Christ and stewards of the mysteries of God. Moreover, it is required that the stewards, that they be found trustworthy. But with me, it is a very small thing that I should be judged by you or by any human court. In fact, I do not even judge myself, for I am not aware of anything against myself, but I am not thereby acquitted. It is the Lord who judges me. Therefore, do not pronounce judgment before the time, before the Lord comes, who will bring to light the things now hidden in darkness, and will disclose the purposes of the heart. Then each one will receive his commendation from God. I have applied these things to myself and Apollos for your benefit, brothers, that you may learn by us not to go beyond what is written, that none of you may be puffed up in favor of one against the other. That none of you may be puffed up in favor of one against the other. So he's fighting against the Stay-Puft Marshmallow Man, so to speak. So verse 1, he says, how should you think of Paul and Apollos? And he says, think of us as servants, as stewards, those entrusted. That is, those who are given something that they are supposed to take care of for a while. Verse 2 says, if you are a person given something, you should be trustworthy. Clear point. Number 3, verse 3, talking about the judgment of mankind. That is not important ultimately what you think of me. What is important ultimately is what God thinks of me. Similarly, it's not ultimately important what I even think of myself. Now, that's not to say, don't get this wrong, that we should just bumble through life and not do any self-assessment and self-consideration and be willing to change our ways, our words, or our walk. The Bible is full of that. The point is that we could be inaccurate in that, and that my judgment might not be perfectly accurate. So we need to have some humility of awareness of error and some humility of awareness of self-deception. I recently read a paper that I wrote in 10th grade and the title of the paper was something like, "What is your philosophy of life?" And I just cringe when I read it now because I thought I, of course, had the world understood at 15 years old or however old you are in 10th grade. But I found out now in rereading it that what I thought at 15 was wrong. Similarly, that we are certainly charged with doing our best, and the Lord requires it. But we should be growing in love, growing in knowledge, growing with experiencing with God. And if we do so, we'll have to put our hand over our mouth every once in a while from our overconfident earlier selves. Now, Paul does say that he is not aware of anything against myself. And what a great thing to say. He's saying, I have clean hands, I have a clean tongue, I have a clean heart. And I wonder, here's a good take-home point, can you do that today? And even if you do make that assessment like Paul does, he also says on top of it, I could be wrong about this though. So I'm holding this with a little bit of humility, and it's only God's judgment that is most important. And he humbly stands before God, and because it says here that God's going to bring to light the things that are hidden, and he's going to disclose the things that are in the purposes and the intention of our heart. So the unhidden is going to be hidden. The undisclosed is going to be accurately disclosed. So we have 100% accurate, 100% complete, 100% holy judgment coming, and we should stand humbly before this. All right, so then he says, so do you hear here? I'm applying this to Paul and Apollos, that we may not go too far, that we may not go beyond what is written, and we may not be puffed up. So he's saying, we are men. We are doing this work for your benefit. Don't go beyond what is written. Don't be puffed up in favor of Apollos or in favor of me. Let's be humble about our leaders, and let's have some caution in judgment of ourselves. Let's have some caution in our judgment of others. Let's have some caution before the final judge. He's going to get it right. We often get it wrong. And let's have some humility before the final judge. So this, back to the Stay-Puft Marshmallow Man, is like the characters in Ghostbusters movie. We are to unpuff ourselves, and we are to unpuff our leaders, knowing that God will judge. Let's not puff ourselves up, and let's not puff up our leaders. God is going to judge 100% accurately. In the meantime, let's do our best, and let's walk humbly before the Lord, not as the Stay-Puft gigantic marshmallow man, but as the humble Stay-Puft Marshmallow Man. Thanks for listening. See you tomorrow.